Dad.
Nose grab off the 5. That shit was intense. Oh, yeah, on tape too.
Awesome.
Yeah.